Hey everybody, I'm up here around Bealeville Cliff doing some stuff today. Thought I'd shoot a little right-of-way road trip from the Bealeville Crossing, where Bealville Road crosses the tracks, up to as far as I can get up at Cliff. I know I can't get all the way up to the east end of Cliff, but I'll get up there as far as I can. It's a pretty cool little place. You can see the cars going by me, behind me there on Bealeville Road. Behind me there, over my shoulder, is the, sorry my voice, I'm having allergy fits today. It's driving me crazy. But behind me you can see those blocks behind me, those concrete blocks. Those were the blocks for the old water tower that stood here at Bealville back in the old days. But anyway, let's head on up towards Cliff, see what's going on. Alrighty, here we go. There, you can see those cabins there to the left on the other side of the tracks. That is the control point house for Bealville. I will put in the playlists here, catching trains at control points. There's also the AEI, automatic equipment identification house right there. I will link the piece I did and on the AEIs and do the playlist for how things work. There was a time when I very first came up here that you had to stop and open all these gates. They were all always closed. It was such a pain in the butt. And up there you can see Tunnel 5, or actually the portal of Tunnel 5, those cabins way up there. That is the west end of Cliff. We'll be up there in a little bit. And there used to be a gate right here. But thankfully the ranchers changed the way they did things at different times, got rid of a lot of these gates. And right here, we are sitting on top of tunnel number 3 right now. This is the road that gets across that. Again, as usual, try to drive slow. There aren't many spikes around here anymore, but why take the chance? And back behind there, Tunnel 3 is back down in that cut, the east portal of it. Anyway, let's see further than that. Flurry of curve oilers in here. I'll link the piece I did on curve oilers in the description below. Now, right about, oops, wrong way, right about where those trees are, just to the left of those trees is where the old shoe fly that they had to build after the earthquake in 1952. They had to build that shoe fly because Tunnel 5 was damaged really badly. And that is about where the shoe fly cut off, made a 180-degree turn, and connected back up over at the base of that hill. Another curve oiler. And the reason that fill for the shoe fly isn't there anymore is because it was severely damaged by the rainstorms we had in 2016 or 2017. I wasn't working up here at the time. I was still working up the valley. So I didn't get to see all that, but I have a picture of it that I will share. That is the west portal of tunnel number 5. It's like somebody backed into that ranch gate or something. It's all messed up and not usable. I'll make the ranchers happy. They don't like it when we mess the gates up. And this is about where the shoe fly cut off right out there and went out across the fill to connect back over about where those trees are in the center of the frame. And we use that shoe fly, as you've seen in a couple of my videos. We use that shoe fly as access to get up here. Up here, I call the whole thing was a shoe fly, from where it left the main line up by where tunnel 6 used to be to where it connected back to the main line over by where the ruins of tunnel 4 are. The whole thing was a shoe fly. The fill was the impressive part of it that went across Clear Creek Ravine. And coming up to the west end of Cliff. And we will get out and open this gate. Alrighty then, the gate opened up. And one of the things I used to hate about working on this district was it had so many gates you had to go through. We're getting to the area where you're going to see why this is called Cliff. That fence right there is, I knew it is. I haven't been up here to work in a very long time. Yeah, it's got a walkway and everything along it. Huh. Definitely wasn't here last time I worked up here. Now, I forgot to mention, because I was picking my way along those ties, back there in that last cut, that's where Tunnel 6 used to be. It was daylighted after the 1952 earthquake, and at that time, this is about where the west end of the siding of Cliff was. It was right about here where the spur track is on the other side of this crossing. And after the tunnel is daylighted. They extended the siding of cliff down to the east portal of tunnel number 5. I don't see anything coming. Alright. Now if you look down in there, that is why this place is called Cliff. Down there where those trees are way down there, that's Caliente down there. And that is looking down into Tehachapi Creek. All right, moving on. And there's one of the spurs at Cliff. There used to be 2 spurs, this one and there's another one. I think the other one's gone. I don't know how far, it's not too far down here, probably 300 or 400 feet down to the bottom. There's places up here, it's a lot worse than that. Excuse my scratchy throat, I just had a sneezing fit. Something up here was getting to me. This was always kind of a sketchy place to drive when it was raining. Ground is real hard up here, so it gets really slick, and you don't get stuck as far as getting buried. You don't get stuck like that up here. You just start spinning. It can't go anywhere. When your truck starts getting sideways, you're trying to get along these roads. They're actually in pretty good shape now. They used to be a lot worse than this. Good grief. I don't have 4-wheel drive, but I do have a differential lock. And that does help a little bit. And this is where the other spur track used to be. This was the site of the first derailment I ever worked. It was a pretty nasty one. Rail broke under a train going up hill. Train was only going 21 miles an hour, but it derailed about 20 cars, all loaded with lettuce and grapes and oranges. And they let us have the grapes and oranges in there done. The lettuce was obviously spoiled. That derailment actually happened in July as well, 1984. And so the lettuce didn't last. I'll get out and look around a little bit. See, they just had a big grass fire over there. See the orange along the hillside where they brought in the planes, dropped the retardant. Found out something about that. I'm not really knowledgeable about firefighting, and I always thought that they dropped that orange stuff to put the fires out, but they don't. They drop it in advance of the fire to stop it from spreading beyond that. Learn something every day. You can see some of the orange along the hill down there on the bottom where the fire didn't get that far. Then looking down into the dry Tehachapi Creek, like I said, it's July. It's actually feels like it's cooled off a few degrees. It was pretty warm when I got down to Tunnel 3 earlier. And I don't know if they still do this. Used to when it rained. If it rained more than a certain amount in a certain amount of time, they took this siding at Cliff out of service. Starting right here, you can see that the siding is very close to the edge of the cliff here, the edge of the hills, and especially so further up there. That retaining wall up there wasn't there when I used to work up here. They put that in, but you can see all the way up around that curve how close the tracks are to the edge, and they didn't want trains, the weight of trains causing the edge of the hill to collapse. And I just, like I said, I don't know if they still do that with all that retaining wall stuff up there. Maybe they don't do that anymore, but they certainly used to. All right, the new Betsy, I don't know why I call them that. I don't name my cars. I just started calling my old truck that, so I guess I'll call my new truck that too. All right, and that is looking off up towards Tehachapi. That is looking off towards Bakersfield. And something else I might mention is this road down here, the one I said I didn't want to go down, that road didn't used to be there. That wasn't there back in the 80s. And if you wanted to go from one end of cliff to the other, you stuck your wheels on the inside of the rail, or if you were brave, on the ties, and drove along the edge there. It was really sketchy, but it was doable. The railroad would absolutely not allow that to happen today, but things were a lot different in the 80s. Well, I walked over there when I was up there and looked down on this road, and it actually looks like they've done a lot of road work here. So I'll go ahead and go down here, a little further up the road, extend this adventure just a little bit. And I even Google Earthed it to make sure that when I got up there was some place to turn around. As I said, it's been a while since I've been up here. And you know what? This may not even be this isn't even the hill I was thinking of. I'm just being a wuss. I think it must be the next hill, because this is actually pretty tame. Yeah, I think you go off down that road there. This is the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Now there used to be a crossing up here. You can see where the pads, those concrete pads over there, are taken out. I don't know if they did some track work up here, or if they just took those out for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Yeah, that is the road I was talking about. It doesn't look like it's been driven on in years. As you can see, it's all washed out up there. But anyway, this is as far as I can get. The east end of cliff, north end of cliff is just up around that curve. About maybe another eighth of a mile around that curve. All right. Well, that will conclude my little drive from the Bealeville Crossing up to almost East Cliff. Hope you enjoyed it. It's pretty neat country. Looks a lot prettier when it's green, but I was up here doing shooting anyway. Thought I'd take advantage of it, because it isn't like it's a handy place to get to. So anyhow, if you have any more ideas, as usual, let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email, motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we will see you on the next adventure.